Good evening, visitors, and welcome to the Australian War Memorial's Last Post ceremony. My name is Gerard Pratt, and joining us today from the Australian Army is Major Nathan Royal. We're honoured to acknowledge His Excellency Mr. Shingo Yamagami, Ambassador, Embassy of Japan, and Mrs. Kaoru Yamagami. We welcome the veterans who have served, those that are still serving, and the families that love and support them. We acknowledge the members of RSL Services Clubs Association, RSL Victoria and RSL Queensland, who are watching the broadcast of this ceremony from across Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the pool of reflection by visitors to the memorial. Australia's Federation Guard is the tri-service ceremonial unit of the Australian Defence Force. They provide a ceremonial presence at civil and military events and during visits to Australia by foreign dignitaries. The Guard will now dismount the catafalque party from the tomb of the unknown Australian soldier. If able, please stand and join in singing the National Anthem.
Soil and 12 for
If able, please be seated. The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through until the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where families and friends could mourn loved ones buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit, in the heart of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight, we will read the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 102,000 men and women who've given their lives for us in war and on operations for more than a century. But first we present a lament, Flowers of the Forest. Wreaths of floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the pool of reflection.
Today, we remember and pay tribute to Sergeant George Godfrey Garner. George Garner was born on the 2nd of April, 1891, the eldest son of William and Mary Garner of the Melbourne suburb of Moonee Ponds. George's father held various jobs, working as a local truant inspector and later an inspector of factories. George was educated at the local state school and went on to undertake a carpentry apprenticeship with James Moore and Sons in Melbourne. He was described as a fine stamp of young fellow. George Garner had long held an interest in military matters, serving 3 years with a local infantry regiment in his youth. Keen not to miss out, he enlisted within a fortnight of the outbreak of war in August 1914. His military experience saw him granted the rank of Lance Sergeant on enlistment, and he would later be promoted to full sergeant. Garner began his infantry training at Broadmeadows Camp, leaving for active service overseas 2 months later. The 7th Battalion continued its training in the Egyptian desert under its commanding officer, Lieutenant Colonel Harold Elliott, spending some time manning defensive positions on the Suez Canal after Turkish attacks in early 1915. The 7th Battalion landed on Gallipoli on the morning of the 25th of April 1915 as part of the second wave of the Dawn Landing. During the landing, Sergeant George Garner was wounded in the chest and face and was evacuated almost as soon as he arrived. He wrote home to his parents to tell them of his wounds, but added that he was well on the way to recovery and hoped shortly to be back in the firing line again. Major Frederick Tubb, who would win the Victoria Cross in August 1915, but who at the time was Garner's lieutenant, later recalled that Garner came back from hospital before he was ready. Tubb wrote, "Garner was always cheerful and with a continual quiet smile bucked up the other fellows." Another of Garner's officers wrote, he had only been back a day or two after being severely wounded in the landing, but had done so well, as he had done at the first landing, that I was about to have him recommend for a commission. Garner returned to his battalion as they were undertaking a 16-day stretch holding Steele's Post. Tubb later recalled, "They were all awfully tired as they were doing a double shift, and a man would often drop from sheer exhaustion, just as if he had been shot. I saw Garner catch hold of one of these men, and he said to him, 'It's easy enough to get a smile when things are going well.' Just then, a shell burst close to Garner and blew off both of his legs." Tubb caught hold of Garner, who had one leg torn off above the knee and the other smashed to a pulp below the knee. Despite his serious wounds, the first words he said to Tubb were, "I'll come back, sir." A doctor was on hand to attend Garner very quickly and bandage his wounds. Garner reportedly said to him, "Now, Doc, as man to man and square dink, what sort of sporting chance have I got?" The doctor teared up and said gently, "Old chap, you have a very good chance with a spirit like that." Garner replied, "Righto, sir," and turning to a stretcher bearer said, "Give us a fag, chum, and a light, please." Although he was perfectly calm and conscious and greeted everyone with a jest, another witness later recalled that you could see Garner's muscles twitch and the lips tighten as the stretcher was lifted away. Garner survived to be loaded onto the hospital ship Gascon, but died on the 14th of July, 1915. Sergeant George Garner was buried at sea and today is commemorated on the Lone Pine Memorial on the heights above Anzac Cove. He was 24 years old. His name is listed on the Roll of Honour on my right among almost 62,000 Australians who died while serving in the First World War. His photograph is displayed today beside the pool of reflection. This is but one of the many stories of service and sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Sergeant George Godfrey Garner, who gave his life for us, for our freedoms, and in the hope of a better world.
Please stand for the reading of the Ode and the sounding of the last post.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them.
We will remember them.
Catapult Party, present! Up! Catapult Party, shoulder up!
Lest we forget.
Lest we forget.
Catapult Party, inwards, turn! Catapult Party, green, march!
We leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there at Poziere or in the low scrub at Gallipoli with his poor tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain has thought in his last moments, well, it's over. But in Australia, they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, that concludes the last post ceremony. We thank you all for visiting the Australian War Memorial and wish you all a very good evening. Thank you.